This is a special New Year's series produced by myself, Jennifer Schwartz, and Gregory Gordon of Fitness for Consumption. And this series, The Fresh Fitness Perspective, is aiming to take a wide lens of the emerging intersection of the body positivity movement, fitness, and marketing. We are going to talk about culture, motivation, and where we land on certain topics that are very relevant to how we perceive fitness. We are going to have fun, we're going to experiment, and even discuss some 2023 trends. Thank you so much for being here, and have a happy new year from the Think Fit, Be Fit podcast network.
Welcome to the Think Fit, Be Fit podcast, part of the Think Fit, Be Fit podcast network, where we put the power of dynamic fitness back in your hands, one mental rep at a time. Effective thinking for potent fitness. Welcome to the show.
We have a new friend in the house, Marci Scott. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. We are looking for a fresh perspective in fitness for 2023 for our own lens. So, I'm looking to find out what people are really asking for, find out how marketing is affecting, driving the consumer, and just discuss some trends that we've seen unfold and what might unfold for 2023. Sound good?
Yes, it sounds fantastic.
Okay. I would love for myself and for the audience, I'm sure, some of your fitness origin story.
So, I've been training since 2010. How I even got into the field was that I myself was overweight. So I was 100, although I'm not far right now because I've been drinking and eating, but just the season, honey.
Happy holidays.
I was about 175, maybe 176 pounds. And for my frame being 5'5", that's too big for my frame. And it wasn't muscle, right? It was like body fat. Like there's a difference. What I'm carrying right now is more muscle as well as body fat. So I'm not super freaked out. I mean, a little, but not super. And so I decided that I needed to lose weight. And so I had my very first training session at a big box gym. And I just remember the trainer taking me through this workout. And I just was looking at it. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you, man? I don't understand why you're doing this to me. I came for help. However, I enjoyed it. And the one thing that made me go get to training, right, was because I just remember this one pivotal moment. And I feel like everybody has it, like the origin, right? I was looking in my closet and I couldn't find anything to wear. And I was like, I don't want to buy any more clothes. I have no interest in going a size up. I'm like, I like being a medium, a schmedium.
Yeah.
I didn't, you know what I mean? I didn't want to buy it. I'm like, I don't want. And at that time, I think I was at like a size 10 going on 12. And I'm like, and I was etching towards, and to each their own, but I was etching towards that 14. And I was like, screw that. I'm not doing that. So that was my pivotal moment that I knew I had to get it together. And so then that's when I went to the training and started training with this trainer. But overall, that still didn't help. It really didn't help. I needed more, I would call myself working out and going running, but then I'd come home and make this big country breakfast. You know what I mean? Potatoes, gravy, and eggs and all that stuff. And I'm like, ooh, I'm eating good. But it wasn't doing anything for my body. You know what I mean? So I still had to learn. Fast forward and then even with that, I then started going to the gym regularly, and I realized that I really enjoyed working out. I realized that I enjoyed the feeling okay, I'm doing something. I'm sweating. I'm getting stronger. 2 weeks ago, I couldn't do a level 5 on a Stairmaster, and then, now I'm at a level 6. Do you know what I mean? So it was just small little things. As I look back sitting here today, that I realized that why I continued on with this health and fitness journey that I'm still on. And it wasn't until 2010 that I got my certification as a cycle instructor. And then I got my certification as a trainer, personal trainer back in 2010. So that's how it started. And then I just kind of went down the fitness rabbit hole.
And then where are you today with coaching and nutrition and working with people?
So today I do online training. I also do nutrition coaching. I've gotten my degree to become a nutrition assistant, which is the lead way I could work at a school, I could work at an old person's home, I can work at a hospital. Do you know what I mean? So I have that degree for that, but I chose to use it for the world. A broader audience than just those types of people. And so I offer that online fitness training. I offer nutrition coaching, and all the training that I do is literally just giving programs, and then they check in with me throughout the week. I do some virtual training, whereas I'm watching my clients do the work, and then correct their form. But that's far and few in between. It's still trading time for money, whereas I prefer to have more of a kind of a group thing than just specifically one-on-one. I do miss the one-on-one though.
Yeah. Well, I work I work exclusively one-on-one, and it's more of like a therapeutic type of interaction. But, I just love also like thinking about the origin story. My step into it was definitely group exercise as well, and cycling. And when you said that, I was like, man, she'd be fun in a cycling class.
Oh, I love teaching cycle. I love it. People either hate me or they love me. Majority of them love me. But it's so funny, Jennifer, me coming here to this region of the country, because I was living in Los Angeles and I was working in Encino. Like I was working in all these places. Like California is very health oriented. You know what I mean? So for me, coming from that demographic and then coming down to the South, I'm still coming with that West Coast energy. I'm still coming with that hard hitting, that bass. I'm like, I need you to stay on beat. I need this. I need more. I need more. Of course, without hurting yourself, right?
Yeah.
Always that caveat. Out here, my class was filled for like maybe 3 weeks, and people literally started to fall off. And every single thing that I heard, like the feedback, your class is too hard. No, it's not. You're just not working hard enough, and you're not willing to challenge yourself. And there was no way that I was changing the way that I taught class to fit, because these people were like, oh, it's too hard. Okay, well, you know what? I'm just going to quit.
Well, perception is an interesting topic when we talk about our expectations for ourselves to like participate, in the level of participation. And, sometimes I think about perception from this like really biological point of view, like what chemicals go on in the brain from the food that we eat that gives us, like allows mental clarity, not gives us, allows mental clarity. And having mental clarity is like a really good thing for, perceiving like what can be done, like how hard you can push yourself. But on the other end, if like, you're not feeling well mentally, and a lack of self-love and just interest, in doing things for yourself, like that creates a whole different perception of like what working out is and what exercise is. So yeah, that would be an interesting experiment if we took group exercise classes and just like started switching the instructors with zip codes, and just to see the different reception and perception and what's going on there.
I learned firsthand. That was definitely something that it was a little bit of a, not necessarily a blow to the ego, but like, I don't know. Like I remember one member saying she didn't like my music. And my first knee-jerk reaction was, how dare you? Right, knee-jerk. Obviously I didn't say that, but I got that feeling in the pit of my stomach, and that's what it was. And I was like, ew. But then I listened, and I talked to a girlfriend who's still back in LA, and she trains older women, know, and it's an older demographic here, so I had to keep that in mind. And so I did change my music a little bit. It didn't make my workouts any easier, but if you prefer, meaning this group preferred, 70s in comparison to Daft Punk, okay, fine. I don't have a problem with that because I can still find the BPM and I'm still going to push you and you still need to do it.
Yeah, clap emoji, whatever.
Right?
Whatever sound effect I can make with that. So I think it's a good time to go over to this like body positivity movement that we're in the middle of, like culturally speaking. And like what role do you think that has played on your demographic in the South now? Like what do you think?
But in my region, I
Yeah.
see a difference in, first of all, bodies. So
Yeah.
we just my husband and I just traveled from California in the RV because he finally came home. So we did a 4-day track. This was about maybe three weeks ago now,
Cool.
after Thanksgiving. So maybe about 4. And Jennifer, again, coming from California, right? You're in the East Coast, you're in New York. So New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, very health conscious, right? For the most part. Really New York and Los Angeles. Those two places, you've got workout people, they want to look good, they eat well. You've got shops and smoothie shops, green juices on every corner, just like every liquor store, right? If there's a liquor store, there's a smoothie shop right next to it.
That's true. Yeah.
Right? It just is.
Yeah.
So that's what I have been accustomed to. So coming through the country and just even being here, because I've been here now for a year and a half. And as I said, I put on weight since, June, because I've been partying since June.
I've been welcoming myself since June.
I get it. And we're human. So I allow that grace, right? There are moments in time we got to allow ourselves some grace.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
However, even with me putting on the 9 to 10 pounds that I have, I'm still the smallest person in my group. And then for me, if I went home, I would be considered a little bit thicker because, I've been eating and drinking and doing all those things. The women here and the men, they're just bigger, right? It's just, we're down south. It's bigger. And I noticed that I don't go to the mall very often because why? But I do a lot of, I was just, correct, for what? I was just doing Christmas shopping and I was on a really popular brand. And I don't know if I can say names or not, but I just noticed there were just these XXX women wearing, athletic gear. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. And I feel like people should be able to have clothing that fits their body type, right? But I find like it's almost promoted. You know what I mean? It's almost promoted. It's okay. What's her name? The singer Lizzo. She's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Perfect example. I get it. Be comfortable in your body, right? No fat shaming whatsoever. However, are we not thinking about your insides? Are we not thinking about your heart, your joints? How hard your heart has to work in order to transfer all of that energy, the blood, right? The oxygen coming in and out. Like, how hard is your heart working? Now, she's pretty athletic. I've seen her on stage, right? That girl splits. I can't even do splits. But I find like not every single woman is like that. And not every single person that's big's got diabetes. Like I've known people that are bigger that don't have it. However, they do have joint issues. They do have heart issues, right? Because they are bigger. So I don't know when it happened. I really don't. It literally just seeped into the seams of fitness. I'm okay with this. This is how I want to look. I don't want to do. I mean, you want to die? Okay, great. You can't feel good. You can't feel good if you're laying on your back and Lizzo's a big woman and you got titties in your face, blocking off your air passage, right? I snore. Yeah. I know she got to snore. She has to be falling down the house. And then
oh my God. They're like, someone turn the vacuum on.
You got the walls coming in as she's breathing in and then being pushed up. You've seen cartoons like that, right? But in all seriousness, like, I don't think that's healthy, right? And
Yeah.
I feel like women and men should want to take better care of themselves. They
Mm-hmm.
should want to live longer. Why walk around being uncomfortable? And anybody who says that they are comfortable, they're lying. I
Mm.
refuse to believe that. They are lying. If you tell me walking around with 200 pounds or extra 90 to 100 pounds on a short frame, that
Mm-hmm.
you're comfortable. You can't become. I look at these women and I'm just like, you can't. How are you breathing? How are you breathing?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've had that. I've had those thoughts go through my head. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I got to study like on these cadavers and multiple times. And I just always remember walking out of those sessions and like, I wish everybody could see this
Mhm.
because you see when you can see the fat on the organ, like you're, to me, it's like looking at your jewelry and not like cleaning it. It's like, I
Yeah.
want to take care of it. I really admire this thing. And I, when I looked at the cadaver liver, I thought the same thing. I was like, whoa, like we all look the same on the inside. Once you like, not same, but like, the shapes and all that stuff. I mean, it's shifting. It has, that did shift my mind to like have those thoughts of like, how does the frame support all this extra weight? Like, I don't get it. Yeah, and I'm just like, I'm working through my own stance or on body positivity because I don't know if it's okay to promote like what might be an unhealthy way of living. Like I just don't I don't know. So, but the mannequins are getting larger. Our population by statistically is as well. There's no signs of that slowing down, which also makes me think like, does that mean that the exercise industry hasn't helped itself from the decades of the same type of, highlighting the skinny hot person?
Mm.
You know, that marketing, has that failed us? Is that not powerful enough over like, I don't know, the huge consumption of seed oils and trans fats and things that are in the standard American diet and the motivation to eat those things. So I mean, hey, maybe it is the thing that's going to start welcoming people into like the next generation of American waistline statistics. I hope, because I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, and that's the thing. Like, it's what is it teaching our
Yeah.
children,
Mm,
right?
mm,
Again, another thing that I see just down here is like, I see big kids. That breaks my heart. It
yeah.
breaks my heart. I look at the kids and then I look
Yeah.
at the parents and I'm like, oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the one thing that I teach my children, my grandchildren, my daughter. She's active, and I
Mm.
don't want to keep her so active that she can't have a chance to be a kid. But honey, she's in dance 2 days a week, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
dancing 2 to 3 hours per day. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yo, and then we eat healthy.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I still have cookies in my house, right?
Yeah.
However, they're not Oreos.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're cookies that they're. I just taught this
They look
on.
like cookies.
They look like cookies, right? But they've got monk fruit in it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's sweet. My daughter can't tell the difference. What she can tell, though, every time Halloween comes around, she eats maybe 3 days worth of candy, and after that, she's like, "Mommy, I'm done. Great,
Mm.
my job is done." Right? We
Mhm.
still
Mhm.
got candy. I just had 2 pieces yesterday. We still got candy in there because she doesn't ask for it, right?
Mhm.
But then I see all these parents like giving marshmallows for lunch.
Whoa. Yeah. That's yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, I just can't. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I went to Morocco in October.
Ooh, nice. How was that?
Well, it's a beautiful place. It has a huge piece of my heart now. And my fiance is also Moroccan. Yeah, it has a big piece of my heart, that country. And there's no overweight children. You also don't see many girls running around playing out in the street, but there are a lot of boys.
Yeah. Okay.
So, that's a whole nother cultural thing. But
Right. Right.
yeah, but it did every time I've traveled, I've always been like, oh, that is different about the States. I really see that. And when
And
I
people walk
traveled
around.
20 years ago, it was still, I remember when I was a 20-year-old traveling the world by myself and noticing how much smaller framed Europeans were, period. And even like the way that the sizes are done in stores, even back then, it was like that. So, yeah. Anyways, as a parent of a female, like, do you see the body positivity movement as far as like in her like social groups? Do they even talk about body sizes? Are they, you know what I mean?
There was a little girl. They don't really, because I think like even with her dance troupe, they're all different sizes, right? My
Mhm.
daughter is not the leanest,
Mhm.
but she's not the biggest. So she's somewhere towards like that spectrum, this being lean, this being the heaviest, she's like right in here. She's more
Mhm.
muscular.
Mhm.
So, and I don't think anybody like I don't hear them talking about that, right? They
Mhm.
wear the little two tops and some of them have little bellies but they're all active.
Mhm.
There's a little girl that is her best friend at school. And I remember her talking, Mommy, I'm what is she? Not fat. She didn't use that. Maybe she did use that word. I'm getting fat, or her arms were getting fat, she said. And I'm like, dude, you're 6, 7. Like, what do you
Mhm.
mean your arms are getting
Yeah.
fat? You know? However, I was just over there yesterday and I can tell that she's putting on weight. Why? Because she's not as active. I
Mhm.
feel that parents, right? And there's another parent and her daughter, she would say, oh, she's, my little chunky. And I'm just like, you should probably stop that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh,
It's not
yeah.
my place to tell her that, but
Yeah.
I would always come back with, no, she's great. She's a good, I mean, I can tell she's thick. However, her parent doesn't have her in doing any activities. So
Yeah.
what this generation is now doing is playing on the iPad or playing on computers. They don't go outside.
Mhm.
Right? My daughter has a bike. She's ridden it twice. I don't
Mm.
want to fall. First of all, that's not my job. That's daddy's job. Do your job, Dad. I'm not, I do everything else. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But I do take her I do take her to dance and I make sure she's active, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't really worry about that with my kid, but I do look at her friends. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like they're not as active as my kid. And, and some parents just don't have the finances to be able to do what we're doing. And I
Mhm.
completely get that. Go outside and throw a frisbee with your child, right?
Mhm.
Get a ball. We live in the freaking country. It's not a ton of cars riding around here, which is what I really enjoy. So
Mhm.
these kids can be outside. Yes, I know it's 44 degrees. Put on a damn jacket.
Yeah. Though, I mean, they would do it if yeah, I
Exactly.
mean, they would go outside if they were given the opportunity.
Opportunity. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So I just, again, it really boils down to the parents to teach the children that be active, go outside and do something. I was outside all the time when I was growing up,
Mhm.
had to be
Oh, yeah.
on when the street lights came on,
Mhm.
So it's just, it is definitely different. And I definitely see the difference in, the ways that these parents, are teaching, and it does affect the way that they talk to them, right? If you're
Mm.
telling your child that she's thick and chunky now, how is that going to affect her when she gets older? Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
well, yeah, we definitely know it will. Like the little brain will and the emotional brain will hold on to that. Yeah.
Absolutely, right? It saddens my heart to see that. And hopefully she'll, find a way to switch the way that she speaks to her kid. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we just went through a whole spectrum of the good and bad of this thing. Is exactly what just happened. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so that's exactly why it's called Think Fit, Be Fit. Like it's like we need to work through these polar ends of things. Like, what does it mean to like actually have a good rationale for your exercise and for your fitness and for your self guidance?
What if I told you the biggest thing standing in the way of peak performance is potentially something as simple as changing how you breathe? We at Think Fit Be Fit rely on science for new ways to optimize performance. That's why we've partnered with NeuroPeak Pro and their new product, the Intel Belt. NeuroPeak has developed the next generation of wearable tech. This belt is a real-time training device designed to teach users how to breathe properly in order to strengthen their resilience to stress, recover quickly, and effectively execute the task in front of them. If you're ready to begin unleashing the true power of breath, download the free NeuroPeak Pro app to experience their precision breath training, or dive deeper into the science of breath training by visiting thinkfitbefitpodcast.com/NPP. Your best training is a breath away.
So we have another show on the network. It's called Peach Pit. And we love talking about trends and trying to find out or help the listener find out and ask good questions about the trends. Like, what would that help me? It just to be able to look at the internet and look at something that's fun and sexy and say, is that what should I run to the gym right now and do that? Or should I look into this a little bit more? 'Cause that looks a little weird and dangerous. And so anyways, so we cover so much stuff, and I bring that up because I think an interesting part of this body positivity movement is women's strength training, and how CrossFit has kind of also nudged us that way. Just seeing women with more muscle outside of a show.
Mhm.
And I just think all that's interesting. And so have you seen women change their minds on quote unquote getting bulky through the last decade of
I think the culture has changed a little, not drastically, but a little. I think more women are now, because they see more Instagram, right? That is the best way to even go. Instagram has now, with all these fit influencers and all these people, with muscle, I think it's become a little bit more normalized.
Mhm.
Again, it really just depends on where they're located. I find that older women, I've gone to the gym and go and just me working out and just paying attention to people.
Mhm. Mhm.
There's older women that are doing 5 pounds. I'm like, what the
Mm.
5 pounds ain't gonna do nothing, honey.
Yeah, you were lifting groceries more than that for a long time.
Exactly. So I'm like, what are you doing with that? I was talking to one of the dance moms, who's an older woman, and she's like, oh, I do 5 pounds here and there. And I was just like, stop.
Yeah.
You're wasting energy and time. Just stop. I said, if you can do 5 pounds and hit it for 20 reps, that means it's too freaking light for you. Go heavier.
Yeah.
So it's trying to get, maybe I should say, the older generation to understand, because again, they're used to hearing, I don't want to get bulky, or don't lift more than that because that's not sexy. I think the younger generation is okay with it. I also feel like the younger generation focuses on specific body parts and not
Yeah.
the whole body, right? I did a rant on this 2 weeks ago. I think I got thousands of hits. Just people were just like, oh my God, that was so funny.
Oh God, tell me. Yeah, do tell.
Right, because it annoys me. I was at the end of my set, and I was doing some pull-ups, and I just looked at this dude. There was two guys, and they were doing chest, right? They were going heavy. But then I scrolled down and looked at their little legs. Jen, their legs were like sticks, and their pants were falling off their hips. They didn't have a butt. Their butt was so flat. And I was like, why? Why are you only focusing on the show me body parts? So then I looked across the room and saw a girl. And I've seen this girl do the same thing. She was working on legs, and her upper body was scrawny. It had no definition. So she was lopsided. They were both lopsided. They could have just literally merged their bodies together and it would have been a perfect body. So like, women, stop focusing so much on your glutes, right? You need to be able, you need your legs to bend down to pick groceries up, but you also need your arms and upper body, right?
Yeah. That chicken leg, big butt trend was very strange.
I don't know what that was, purely injections.
But there was an attempt in the gym to get that.
That was weird.
Yeah, I think it's not going to go away because people got so many injections based on that. But
It's like build your hamstrings. How like how you go from nothing to like wow. And it's like, what the hell is that? I don't know. Like I love hamstrings, right? I love doing them. I hate them. I love them. I love to hate them.
They're my favorite. Yeah.
They're challenging, right? If you go heavy enough. But I do see that trend, and it's like stop working on just your butt and stop working on just your, show me body parts. I can't stand that. So I think that's the newest trend, and I think women need to be more focused on full body, So do dudes. Like I told for dudes, if you're not working on your legs, means you ain't satisfying your partner. Point blank. Point blank. Like you need your legs and your abs and your hips for so much more than what you think. And if you're not putting it in, honey, well then your partner's out there doing
I mean, it's funny you say that because like the legs and like the muscle of the legs can like really help with like, the blood pressure and like, keeping things strong.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I actually had someone do a blood pressure test on my leg yesterday, on my calf. And it was for like a wellness check. They did the blood pressure here. They also did it standing. And then they did it on my calf. And one, it hurt. I have really nice calves and it just squeezed the fuck out of it. And
really?
And I was like really confused, but then I looked into it and I was like, oh, that is actually smart. Like you want to know the return. That makes sense. Yeah.
And I've never heard that done, but now I'm going to go do it. I have a blood pressure machine.
Yeah,
I'm going to go do my calf.
She went to the calf. It doesn't take as long to pressurize. It's different. It was like much faster. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways. But the trend like of, women like not having to lift more than 5 pounds. I mean, I thought that was all over everywhere that had like modern fitness trends, especially like, gosh, before 2020, that was like, it was like just the polar opposite of CrossFit, basically. It was like, and it was, I mean, and I still like, will get these ads from Tracy Anderson because I'll like hate watch that, on like, it'll like come up on my feed and I'll be like, oh, I get so mad. And that means I watch it like 6 times. So then I get hit on the algorithm and I keep getting these awful videos of women lifting no weight.
Around?
Yeah. Yeah.
She's still doing 2.5 pounds?
I know she hasn't progressed. That's a problem. Exactly.
Wow. I need to look at her site. She's on IG, I assume, right?
Yeah. It was, I get, I literally get ads for her. So I know she's still seeking because it's not like I even follow. It's like I'm getting targeted.
Why? She was like, stop. I know. More than 2.5 pounds.
Yeah. So, I mean, so that's like so anti science or even common sense.
It sure is.
Like you can't lift 2.5 to 5 pounds for 6 years, let alone like 6 weeks. And honestly, like I fully support, like if you do anything when you're a beginner for like 3 or 4 weeks, you're going to see like something change. And but
the body adapts.
Yeah, you need more. Yeah, you got to understand.
After that, like I always tell my clients, constantly progress every 2 to 3 weeks. You need to go up. Like, I've had female clients and they're like, but this is good. No, it's not. Stop. Oh, I want arms like you. Yeah, I lift 25 pounds.
Yeah.
Minimum. Like.
Yeah.
2 and the 5. Put the 2.5, take the point out and put it 25.
So I think there's still like this bias against women. So they'll like do like the booty pumps and the frog pumps and the hip thrust until their uterus caves in from the barbell.
Uterus.
And but they're not going to do like overhead presses. They're not going to use the barbell another way, I don't think.
Here's my own personal. I just sat here and remembered I didn't do upper body for years, right? Why didn't I do it? Because I had boob job.
Mm.
And I was like, I don't want to pop my boobs. But then my ex-husband, he's like, you're not going to pop your boobs, pick up a freaking weight and do some chest presses. And I was like, I don't want to. What if I get too bulky? You're not going to get bulky. He was like, you're not eating like that. He was like, you're not on steroids. You're not doing that. The body can't magically turn you into a bulk unless you're eating and or either taking extra stuff in order to get like that way.
Yeah. Huge
So
surplus.
yeah, right. And I know I wasn't. And I just remember when I first did it, I was, scared. But once I did it, I became in love with doing chest press. I love doing chest. I love working on my back, my shoulders. The one thing that I've heard a lot of women say to me when they look at me when I'm better shape than I am right now is, like, how did you get your arms that way? Or I like your arms, or they'll compare it and say, I want Michelle Obama arms.
Oh, that's still a thing. Yeah.
Right. But Michelle Obama, she was working out with the trainer, right? And I know she was working more than just 5 pounds. She had to have, because she had some nice arms.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, and I always tell them, like, you got to lift more than 10 pounds, honey, more than 5 pounds. You have to like add on. And that's the one thing that I preach as we get older. The one thing that's going to keep us healthy longer is by adding, weight bearing exercises to our routine, right? It's going to prevent our muscles from atrophying, and it's going to keep our bones strong. Especially women, as we get older, osteoporosis starts to set in. We start to shrink. You know what I mean? It's like, we need to do more than just 5 pounds. Like, after that, you're just starting out, or like I've done it on when I've ridden my bike, they'll have like the exercises with the light arms. I mean, if you do that enough repetitions while you're doing the bicycle, okay, great, as an in-between. But even still, I'm still reaching for those 20, 25, 30 pounds on every other day if I'm doing 2.5 or 5 pounds, in between, right? To create that definition. So there's a method to that. There's a method to that, but just doing it 5 days a week, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. I did read an update about Michelle Obama.
Okay.
I had like split that out. That sounded terrible. It sounded like I had 3 cocktails the way I just said her name.
Don't get me started.
Oh my God. It's kind of sad. She said she's like given up on like having toned arm because she's in menopause. Yeah, it was in People and Vanity Fair. I read it in Vanity Fair, and it's like it was like a short little blurb because I think she just came out with a new book, and so she's like making the circuit, and it was in one of those interviews, like she said. In the interview, Obama spoke about her changing her approach to how she takes care physically now that she's getting older. She goes, some of it's menopause, some of it's aging. She said, I find that I cannot push myself as hard as I used to. That doesn't work out for me. And that's when I tear or pull a muscle or something, and then I'm out. So she's like talking about her body, like not recovering from exercise essentially. And I feel like she's well resourced enough where she could beat that excuse, first of all.
You took that right out of my mouth. I'm like, I know she's got access to somebody. She's got doctors. She's got anti-aging specialists. Honestly, the anti-aging specialist that I use is called collagen.
Yeah. I have a lot of tricks.
Right. And it doesn't cost that much, right? And you stretch, right? You take recovery supplements, BCAAs, you have a lot of, glutamine. That's the first 3 things that I tell my clients to purchase when they first start working with me.
Glutamine is good stuff. Yeah.
Glutamine, they use it in hospitals. They use it in hospitals for people who have bed sores. I learned so much by being in the nutritional clinicals of things that I was already using and didn't understand. Like, even the medical field uses this stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So glutamine is definitely like on my top things to get. But Michelle Obama, she should be able to rest and recover. And if she's pushing herself too hard, then change her workout. You know, I find like you don't need to work out for 2 hours in the gym, right? Do HIIT 3 times a week. Do some walking, right? Like, I'm confused with that statement. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little upsetting. And I mean, and I think like moving over to the next stop on the body positivity train here is ageism.
Yeah.
Because that's a perfect example. Like I've heard it. It's very common for people just to say, I'm 45. I'm not getting on the treadmill anymore. My knees don't like it.
It's so funny. I talked to my client. We're really good friends. We've been friends for 8 years. And we're literally the same age. I'm 47. She's 46. She just turned 46. And we talk about that. There's days, Jen, that I don't want to work out, right? Because I have back issues, right? My knee hurts, my foot hurts. Like there's so many excuses that I could use, but I also know that I like to feel a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And I know if I don't do anything for 3 days, I feel like crap. I don't feel well. My body.
So true.
You know what I mean? And it's like, so now you're saying that if you worked out all the way until 45 and because these aches and pains are getting you, you mean to tell me you feel good after 3 days? I know I can't be the only one. I can't be the only one. And at 45 is when you should keep going. You don't have to work out like you did when you were 25. Let me tell you, I can't. Like I can't spend 2 hours in the gym like I used to trying to get prepared for, getting on stage. I walk in the gym and I'm like, okay, I'm in here for an hour. I got to go. I'm like, I don't want to be in there. And there's so many other things that I can do on the outside. Like I walk my dog minimum 2 miles a day, right? 1, because he needs it. And 2, it's still creating that active lifestyle without just saying, oh, I'm giving into age. Well, fuck age. No, let's not do that. Let's not use age as an excuse. If you've done it, keep going. You may not have to go as hard as you used to, but keep going. Like, I don't understand that. But we do joke about just giving up. We're going to give up at 80. We're going to give up at 80. We're going to move to an island and start smoking cigars and drinking with cabana.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but you might enjoy that so much that you might have to work out in the morning. So you like feel decent.
Right.
Yeah. Might be like, well, yeah, I got to get my blood flowing. So
Right.
no, my gosh. Yeah. Well, this has been so much fun. I, really enjoyed that. And it's also like just confirming my assumption that, what we're seeing like change in in fitness marketing. I think it should be confusing to me, and I know it's confusing to other people. So it's important that we like take some time to get to know ourselves, take care of ourselves, and learn what's right for, you're one person, what's right for you. And hopefully you run into a fun, great expert like yourself or me along the way. You know what I mean?
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. What do you think is going to be trending in the 2023?
Oh my God. I don't know. Probably more of the same, big life. I don't know. I don't know what the new trend is. I'm hoping the new trend is eat better. Eat better for your health, right? I go on rampages all the time in my group meetings about the FDA. I can't stand them. They're trying to kill us slowly. They're trying to kill us slowly and they're hiding it, right? And people are just not aware, or they're choosing not to be aware. So I'm hoping we get more people talking about eating better so that your body can feel better, so that even if you decide that being bigger is for you, which I find to be stupid, but even if you find that being bigger is for you, still eat well, right? Because even if you ate well and didn't work out, people could still lose weight. And now your body is functioning better. You have less brain fog, so let's start our own trend. The new trend for 2023 is eat well to live longer. That's the new trend.
That's the new trend. Yeah. Yeah. We just finished up like this season of self-care on Think Fit, Be Fit. And the idea was like to present different ways to view self-care instead of the normal like narrative. It's like, you better take care of yourself. It's like, what if we just shared a different way to look at it? Like we had an approach like from like acupuncture. It was like seasonal self-care. Like you do this in the fall, you do this in the winter, you do this in the spring, and just different things, different tools. So what's in your toolbox besides exercise for self-care?
So for me, my self-care is because I'm constantly moving and active. So let's start with this. Let me start from the inside out.
Mm.
For me, my self-care is taking supplements and vitamins, right?
Mm.
And then I've just added in, because it's winter time, so I added in elderberry,
Mm-hmm.
keep myself healthy and not sick because I have a kid. And then at nighttime, what I do is lemon juice with apple cider vinegar,
Mm-hmm.
turmeric, cayenne pepper, and ginger,
Mm-hmm.
right? Of course, I need black pepper as well as water. I add to that. And I do that at nighttime, one, because it helps with digestion, right?
Mm-hmm.
It also helps with the flow, just getting everything moving, right?
Mm.
I'm an advocate for that because if your insides are moving properly, then your body is working at its best and it's able to expel.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We talk about everything on my thing, so I use more graphic words than that. I'm
Yeah,
trying
I like expel. Yeah.
So that's what I do from the inside. And then again, because I enjoy drinking, so I have to make sure that I keep a balance, right? I don't want anything overly, and I want my insides to be too acidic. And then I do a lot of yoga and stretching in the evening. It helps calm my mind. It helps me kind of reflect on the day, and it keeps me from having too many aches and pains. As I said earlier, my back, I've gone through a couple of procedures for my back. I've had ablation already done twice. I've got issues with my hips because of my back. I've got issues with my hips because of the footwear that I have inside of my shoes. It kind of brings me off. And then I've had foot surgery, right? So I have aches and pains. I got an issue with my right shoulder too. So I find that for me, because I am older, right, that in order for me to continue feeling at my best, waking up the next morning, yoga. And if I don't feel like doing yoga, simply watching a movie and stretching, right? That's simple. Most people are like, I don't have time to stretch. Yes, you do. You're just not making time for it. If you can sit back and watch your nighttime show or watch football, because it is football season, right? That game is on for 2 hours. You mean to tell me you can't take 30 minutes to sit there and watch that? There's a halftime show for 15 minutes. It's not football. So those are the things that I do to keep my self-care. And then I journal, at nighttime and the first thing in the morning. Nighttime, what I'm grateful for and what I've accomplished for the day. In the morning, what I want to accomplish for the day and I'm grateful for, and I find that for me keeps me pretty centered.
Yeah. I have a little journal. It's not, well, I can journal or I can just like visualize it where I have a funeral for every day.
What?
Yeah. I tell like all the things that I want to take with me the next day. And then there's like the things I want to like just to stay. Like they're gonna go die because like they happened yesterday, they happened earlier today, and that's the end of it. I'm taking away its energy.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah. So I like that it's it's got like a punch to it. It's like kind of like, like cuz it's like I needed more than it really helps me. I love it. Anyways, more self-care tips from Jen's morbid brain. So anyways, tell people where to find you. And I can't wait to share this with the podcast world.
I'm so excited. This has been wonderful. I'm so excited you asked me to be on. I love it. My website is phoenixtribefitness.com. My Instagram, my TikTok, those two have phoenix.tribe.fitness are my handles. Facebook is Marci Scott or Coach Scott. And then is that it? Oh, LinkedIn is just literally my name. Cool. I'm like something else. Oh, and I do have a YouTube channel. Again, it's under phoenixtribefitness.com. And I do lives every week, these 2 to 3 times a week, talking just about stuff, health, nutrition. Yeah.
I'm going to check that out. I love your logo. That's with the Phoenix. Yeah.
Phoenix.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll
Phoenix
take a picture real quick. There we go. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate this. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend and happy holidays to you.
Yes. Happy New Year. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening and being a part of the Think Fit, Be Fit podcast network. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your friends and family. If you're interested in further resources, check out or visit our website, thinkfitbefitpodcast.com.